Nowhere is this more apparent than in booming 21st century Karnataka.
This video, we look at David Attenborough and where he is today. There are few people who can claim to have as successful and well-rounded career as Sir David Attenborough.
When he came to allocate a scientific name to this bird, called it woohoo.
This conservationalist, naturalist, and television personality has been in the public eye since the 1950s. He discovered a love of nature at a young age. This devotion propelled him throughout his professional life. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want more amazing content. Born on May 8, 1926 in Isleworth, Middlesex, England, David is one of 3 sons and was raised in College House on the campus of the University College, Leicester, where his father, Frederick, was principal. Growing up with an academic backdrop, David took to learning like a fish takes to water. Always curious, always learning, David spent most of his free time collecting fossils and natural specimens of all kinds, creating himself a little museum of sorts. The clever 11-year-old David, knowing the zoology department was looking for newts, collected a bunch from a small pond on campus and was even paid 3 pence for each of them. When he wasn't out collecting flora and fauna, he was sitting in on lectures and learning about animals and species from all over the world, enlarging his curiosity and really forming the mind that would benefit mankind for years to come. By 1945, David had won a scholarship to Clare College in Cambridge, where he studied geology and zoology and got his degree in natural sciences. Side note, over his career, David has 32 separate honorary degrees. After attending university, David, like so many others of his generation, served in the Royal Navy for 2 years for national service. Serving in the Navy allowed David to spark his love of exploration that would eventually define his working life. After his service in the Navy was over, David worked in publishing and attempted a radio career before joining the BBC in 1952. Back then, most people didn't even own a television yet. Criticized for his large teeth, David was deemed unsuitable for on-camera work and instead was focused into production and producing, concentrating on non-fiction broadcasting. For the next 2 years, he networked within the naturalists and zoo curators, which ultimately helped him bring the show Zoo Quest to the nation in 1954. When the show's originally slotted host fell ill, Attenborough stepped in himself, and a TV legend began. By the early 1960s, Attenborough eventually resigned from permanent staff on BBC to study for a postgrad degree in social anthropology at the London School of Economics, linking his study with further filming. Before he could finish his degree, there was an offer to be controller for the freshly launched BBC Two station, which he promptly took. Attenborough, throughout the 1960s, was able to bring a fresh look to television with a variety of programming, including documentaries, sports, game shows, and music shows. Fun fact, he actually brought the legendary and inspirational comedy group Monty Python to the nation's TVs with Monty Python's Flying Circus.
I thank you, gentlemen. The year has been a good one for the society.
According to the BBC, as controller of BBC Two, he oversaw the first ever color broadcasts in Europe, rushing to beat rival German broadcasters by 3 weeks. He then commissioned the critically acclaimed series Civilization, written and presented by art historian Kenneth Clark. The Ascent of Man, presented by humanist scientist Jacob Bronowski, soon followed. These landmark series helped inaugurate a new kind of television documentary, putting history, culture, and science on screen in ways never seen before. The 1960s may have seen the rise of Attenborough's star in the world of television, but by the end of the decade, David was feeling far too removed from actual production, and by 1973, he resigned from his position to become a freelance broadcaster. The 1970s saw an array of docuseries from the creator on topics such as tribal art, voyages of discovery, and even a children's series on mythological creatures. His pioneering series, Life on Earth, began in 1979, which would become the benchmark of his career. Throughout the years, Attenborough has written over 40 separate natural history series, many of them extremely renowned, such as The Living Planet, The Trials of Life, Life in the Freezer, The Private Life of Plants, Life of Birds, The Blue Planet, Planet Earth, Kingdom of Plants 3D, and so many more. He has also narrated numerous other programs, including the BBC's Wildlife on One, which ran for 250 episodes from 1977 to 2005. and his 2006 series Planet Earth, which was the biggest wildlife documentary ever made at the time, was also the first show to air in HD on the BBC. His highly recognizable, quiet, unassuming voice and cadence has informed and entertained his viewers for over 50 years. It is often thought that David Attenborough may just be one of the most traveled men on Earth. For just the 1998 series Life of Birds alone, he traveled 256,000 miles by air. That's equivalent to traveling around the world 10 times. He has been on every continent in the world, culminating in 2009 when he reached the North Pole at the remarkable age of 83. Considering he's been trotting around the globe for our viewing pleasure since 1979, perhaps it's not so surprising. Another fun fact about this amazing man is that he has 11 different species named after him. From prehistoric lizards to a species of daisy, to a ghost shrimp found in Madagascar, a rare tree found only in Ecuador, and even a carnivorous pitcher plant has been nicknamed the rat eater as it lures in animals with its sweet nectar. Which is funny, as Attenborough notoriously hates rats and most creepy crawly things. When asked once about what animal he would be if he could so choose, Attenborough picked a sloth, which is funny as well because he is so obviously energetic and a very busy man. David Attenborough was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 1985, appointed a Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. Michael and St. George for service to television broadcasting and conservation. He said, "I am, of course, most honored that my work should have been recognized in this way." The Order of St. Michael and St. George recognizes service in a foreign country or in relation to foreign and Commonwealth affairs. Last year in 2020, he was awarded with a second knighthood at the age of 94. He has received countless awards and honors over the years. He has won numerous BAFTAs, and he is the only person to have won a BAFTA for programs in black and white, color, HD, and 3D. Adding to his accolades are numerous Emmys, international awards, the Crystal Award from the World Economic Forum, and even a Peabody. He may be in his 90s, but David Attenborough did not retire in his later years like so many of his age. In 2017, Blue Planet 2 was broadcast with Attenborough returning as presenter. The series was critically acclaimed and gained the highest UK viewing figure for 2017 with 14.1 million viewers. Attenborough also narrated the 2018 5-part series Dynasties, each episode dealing with one species. In 2019, he narrated Our Planet, an 8-part documentary series for Netflix. In March of 2019, it was announced that Attenborough is to present an urgent, one-off film documentary about climate change for BBC One, called Climate Change: The Facts. This was followed by Extinction: The Facts, which is partly based on the 2019 IPBES report on the decline of biodiversity. In October of 2020, Attenborough began filming in Cambridge for the upcoming series The Green Planet. And in 2021, Attenborough narrated A Perfect Planet, a 5-part Earth science series for BBC One. For almost 70 years, David Attenborough has graced our airwaves in one form or another. He has brought attention to every major environmental concern, taught us all about the amazing world we live in, and who we share this beautiful planet with. He has changed the way so many people think about the world and humans' place in it, and has truly molded the minds of generations. He is a treasure to society, and we all hope to have more time with this amazing man. There you have it, David Attenborough then and now. Let us know how fascinated you are by all he has done in the comments below. That's it for today, and we'll see you in the next video.